War never changes. In the year 1945, my great-great-grandfather, serving in the army, wondered when he'd get to go home to his wife and the son he'd never seen. He got his wish when the US ended World War II by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Where to start this review of sorts? Should I talk about Call of Duty Vanguard's campaign, or even its zombie mode? No, I'm not going to talk about any of that. Instead, I'm going to be talking about Vanguard's multiplayer, which includes topics like guns, maps, and of course, the gameplay. Alright, let's talk about guns. Please note that I will be using attachments, so your usage will vary. So there are 38 weapons in Call of Duty Vanguard, but I won't be talking about all of them, or else we'd be here all day. Let's list off some of my personal favorite guns and their traits. Alright, first up is the MP40. The MP40 has reliable firepower for an SMG and decent fire rate that I personally like. The MG42 goes There isn't much to it other than that. I am a simple creature after all. Kind of like Gollum. My precious MG42. Well, I guess an additional added bonus is that you can snub-nose it and take off the stock, which kinda turns it into an SMG. The STG-44 is a reliable gun for close or long-range combat. You can't go wrong with this all-arounder. Okay, now we'll move on and discuss the creator class. I mainly want to focus on the gunsmith. As many of you might already know, the gunsmith allows you to put attachments and camos on your guns. What type of attachments are there? Good question. You've got your classic attachments, such as the muzzle, the barrel, and the optics. Also, the stonk. Now there are a few new things with the gunsmith in Vanguard. Examples of this would be the ammo type, the kit, and the proficiency. The ammo types are pretty simple. You have your different ammo types that will let you change your bullet's attributes. For example, the incendiary rounds or the armor-piercing rounds. I won't delve too deep into the kit and the proficiency on the guns because they're pretty much just weapon perks and I want to move on. Let's get back to gun talk. The guns just sound so damn good, but then again, I find the sound design in Call of Duty has usually been one of their stronger suits. The reason why I like it so much is because it's both realistic sounding and brutal. An example is the blast that comes out of the combat shotgun. I also appreciate the way some guns sound, like that ping from the M1 Grand. It's not a World War II video game video without at least mentioning that ping. Honestly, I don't have much else to say about sound design. If you watched my previous review of Stardew Valley, this won't surprise you. With that shameless plug out of the way, let's talk about the recoil on the guns. The recoil is honestly really refreshing. I haven't found a gun that feels like a laser beam without any attachments. At the same time, I haven't encountered a gun that has too much recoil that it isn't usable without attachments, except for maybe the base Thompson. The next part of the gun section I'd like to talk about is the vintage look of the World War II era guns. Like the uncomfortable sights of the Type 11, or the magazine of the Sten in your face as you run. The design of guns can't really get any cooler than World War II era. They are unique in their design. If you're wondering how you can make your gun look different, there are a few ways. You can buy custom looking guns in the store. Please note that more items will come to the store with Season 1 on December 2nd. You can also buy the Battle Pass to unlock custom guns. Or you can use camo for your gun as well. You unlock these the same way you normally do, by completing certain challenges, like getting kills, headshots, and multi-kills. Thankfully, there are no mounted kill challenges. Let's move on from guns to talk about the maps in Vanguard. There are 20 maps in Vanguard, 16 of them are normal maps, and 4 of them are for the gunfight mode. I won't be talking about all the maps, but I'll pick 4 maps that I feel confident talking about. Personally, I find it really refreshing to have so many maps at launch, because it helps the game not feel so stale after a while. Also, with the free maps coming out, I'm sure it will help the game feel fresh. Just a heads up that I will be playing with bots to show off this section. Alright, let's talk about the first map on the list, Castle. Castle is a remake from World at War, so the map is a certified classic. I would say it's a good medium-sized map. It has many high vantage points that you can definitely take advantage of. It also has many tight hallways to ambush somebody with guns like shotguns. The next map is called Hotel Royale. Hotel Royale is a classic 3-lane map with 2 stories. As I've mentioned, it has 2 stories to it, one inside the building and one on its roof. They collide in the center of the map on both of the stories. It plays like a standard 3-lane map. This is my most played map because it was in the beta. The next map is Das Haus. Das Haus is my second favorite small map next to Shipment. It's a 3-lane map that is almost as crazy as Shipment. Das Haus plays like a standard small map, but unlike Shipment and Nuketown, it only has one chaotic story, which is why I think I like it so much. And plus it's fun saying Das Haus. Next up is Red Star. So we're doing another beta map. This map is quite a bit bigger than the rest of the other maps, so it plays a bit differently. This map has a mix of camping and yeeting. Most of the buildings on this map have 2 or 3 stories to it, so it makes sniping common. The yeeting mainly takes place in the close quarters inside the multi-story buildings. I just want to wrap up this section by saying Call of Duty Vanguard has some really good launch maps. Okay, let's move on to gameplay. Let's start off with the gameplay selection by talking about the movement. The movement is really similar to Modern Warfare 2019. This engine has great movement, the best movement in the series for me. You have your sprint and your run. The run is a faster sprint, and you can only use it for a set amount of time. The last movement is the sliding feature. It's really fun to slide and shoot at the same time, especially with shotguns. Up next are the different game modes. I'm only going to pick 3 to talk about. First, let's start off with my favorite game mode, Hardpoint. In Hardpoint, you have to hold a position on the map by remaining in the zone, and after a certain amount of time, the zone will teleport. The hardpoint on the map will change, and you can learn where it goes by either becoming familiar with how the map is played, or by using Google to look up where the hardpoint goes. I like this mode a lot because everyone wants to be at the hardpoint, so it's easy to figure out where most people will be. I also really like playing the objective. Next is Team Deathmatch, aka TDM. TDM is the most basic of game modes. It's usually a 6v6 game mode where 2 teams duke it out. The team who gets to the score limit first wins. I like this one for the exact opposite reason I like Hardpoint. There is no real objective, just good old-fashioned elimination of the other team. The last game mode I'm going to talk about is Patrol. Patrol is a new game mode in the Call of Duty series. It's an objective game mode like Hardpoint. The difference between Patrol and Hardpoint is that the objective doesn't teleport to a new area, it just moves slowly throughout the map. Since we're talking about game modes, I should probably mention something new and amazing. Combat pacing. Combat pacing is a new option in the filter that will let you choose between 3 different options. Tactical, which is a slower, more tactical experience. Assault has slightly more people and slightly more chaos. And finally, the Big Chungus Blitz. Blitz is the best one of all 3. This mode is just a mess of people dying and respawning in a large multiplayer lobby. I just want to say how much I like split screen in this game. I have noticed it has some performance issues and some bugs on the PS5, but it's still fun to sit down and play split screen multiplayer with friends. My overall time with the game has been less than I'd like. At the time of this review, I've only played 3 hours of the release version and 10 hours of the beta. Even in that short amount of time, my KDR is still 0.98, so I'm calling that a W. In closing, I just want to say how good this year's Call of Duty multiplayer is so far. On the other hand, the zombie game mode is still a tad disappointing, but I think they can save it with a new round-based map. And hey, if that happens, maybe I'll make another video dedicated to it. Anyways, thanks for watching this review, of sorts.